When you're coaching immigrants today, what's the number one mistake that you're seeing right now in their job search strategy?
Apply, 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 apply. I tell them apply for a job should be your last resort.
The scary part for the immigration is that when the job isn't aligned with our immigration pathway, time passes, your profile isn't improved, and then your work permit expires. A lot of immigrants in Canada believe one simple thing: I have a job, so I'm fine. Right? But there's a more uncomfortable question. Is your job aligned with your immigration pathways and or your long-term career goals? My guest today is career coach Mher Mardoyan, who has helped immigrants land jobs in their fields for the last 7 years. And I wanted him in this episode specifically because this is not an immigration problem. This is an employment and a strategy problem. But you mentioned that the first job was a survival job. What was that job?
I start getting the interviews. The interviews was not the problem, or the degree was not the problem, or the language was not the problem. When I was in the elevator alone, I was crying like, what am I doing here? The problem was you don't have Canadian experience.
Today, we're going to break down the survival trap and the comfort trap and how to move strategically before time runs out. But Mher, what happens when you're in survival mode and people have lost the confidence?
Have a 7-day strategy. First,
Mher, welcome to Our Immigration Stories as told by Canadian immigrants. This show is all about sharing the real, the raw, and the inspiring journeys of immigrants who have made Canada their home. Mher, you are a career coach here in Canada, and you have an extensive career history. Like if you go on your LinkedIn profile, it'll scroll for days, right? So you have lots of work experience, right?
yes.
So you moved from Lebanon to BC. You were in BC for some time.
9 years.
Then now you are in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Correct.
Right? Interesting hopping there. We're going to talk
Yes.
about that soon.
Yes.
But first, how long did it take you to land your first job in Canada?
So I landed July 8, 2012. And I was so excited. Yes, I have a degree. I have the language. It will be a piece of cake. No, it wasn't a piece of cake. I landed September, my first survival job. And I will say survival because I needed a job. I need to pay the bills, right? It was just temporary short-term income. Then I did 1 year maternity leave coverage. It was something new to me. Where I come from, employers don't hire someone for maternity leave. They usually distribute the job, and then the person, if they come, or if not, they lose it. And then 9 months of networking. And then I landed the job, which was in HR, which was my specialty. This is the brief. We can go in details, but this is the brief. So I would say a year and a half around that time.
Yeah. Okay. And I love that you mentioned that to kind of set the stage really nicely because we're going to talk about today how survival jobs are keeping immigrants stuck. And this is immigrants on both sides of the fence in terms of temporary residents as well as permanent residents who now have gone through the immigration battle and they're tired, right?
Yes.
They just need a break. They just need to live a little, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But you mentioned that the first job was a survival job. What was that job?
So I was, again, I landed in July, learned a little bit about the culture, went to some government-funded agencies that were helping new immigrants with their resume, Canadian culture, how to prepare for an interview, how to do that. And I started getting the interview. So the interviews was not the problem, or the degree was not the problem, or the language was not the problem. The problem was, at that time, and I put it in quote unquote, you don't have Canadian culture, Canadian experience. And at one point I was like, what is this Canadian experience you're talking about, and how am I going to get it if no one is hiring me? And the bills were coming, the money that I brought with me was gone. Then I need to do something. I cannot last here. I put a timeline in my mind, like 1 year to discover, to see what I can do, but I need short-term income now.
Right.
I need an income now. for a short period. So my first job was I was in the Hudson Bay, the retail, but I
Okay.
was not on the floor. I was the morning people who brought all the material, put it on the floor, put the security code,
Okay.
and it's a kind of a warehouse job. So I have to wake up at 5:30 a.m. to take the bus, half an hour to go to downtown Vancouver. 6:30 I have to be there, and then till 2:30. But I remember I was there, okay, I'm learning, meeting new people, things like that. But when I was in the elevator alone, I was crying, like, what am I doing here? I
You
have a
didn't come for
master.
this, right?
I didn't come for this. I have a master's degree. I'm like a, what's the proper word? Like, I mean, like a slave. Sorry for the word. Like, I'm like on the floor, like carrying boxes and putting cat. But I had some support system, and people were telling me, okay, this is temporary. Your
Yeah.
mind has to take this. This is a temporary job. This is not your final destination. So I had a clear goal in my mind. Okay, let me get this Canadian experience. What do I want? I want an HR job. Okay. What is the Canadian culture for HR job? So I did some research. Okay, I need to have a degree. Okay, so I went did an HR certificate at BCIT so that I can know the language and the experience and put that in my resume. And then the calls little bit came better than before.
Okay. Okay. So you added Canadian education plus Canadian experience
Yes,
to your resume.
yes. And there was a
Interesting.
time that I removed my master's degree when I was applying
Yeah.
for roles because I was like, they would think that I'm
Overqualified.
overqualified, or there were times that I was interviewed by 24-year-old fresh graduate from high school. I'm 36 years old. Maybe they felt that I'm coming after their job, or they didn't understand me, or something.
Mm.
It was, I would say, having a plan was important for me so that I
Yeah.
was not stuck there. And I can put in terms of, I had 5 points in my mind that I need to do it. So survival job was temporary. I'm not going to stay there forever. I had clear goals that I need an HR role. Okay, what can I do to get those? So the education part was important to have it. The other part was for me is networking, which for me was also a foreign language or a new language. I didn't understand that. So networking was very key, and I highly encourage new immigrants or people coming here to network from day one,
Mm-hmm.
even though if you have a job, which I had, and I started keep networking. That's how we met. We never met. We kept networking, and here I am now. The people, when they come, their mindset has to shift. The
Mm-hmm.
mindset in terms of how to network, how to
Mm-hmm.
present yourself, and have clear
Mm-hmm.
clarity. Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times, I might be wrong saying this, that sometimes newcomers or immigrants feel that everything should be given to them on a golden plate, everything should be free, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
understand that concept. I wanted free stuff, but sometimes you need to invest in yourself. You left
Yeah.
everything, you left your country, you brought some money. You need to invest in yourself, have a career coach or someone that can guide you, navigate you.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say the government funding agencies are very important. They helped us, but sometimes they're also overwhelmed with so many, and at that
People. Yeah.
people they're helping. And but you need someone now, and you need an accountability person. So career
Yeah.
coaches come that in that
Mm-hmm.
sense that we can be accountable. And as you said, I have a lot of network after 12 years being here. I have people in Vancouver, I have people in Toronto, I have people in Atlantic Canada. If I'm helping people, I know how to connect with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. And that's good value pack stuff right out the gate, people. Some really like practical tips on what to do, and we can
Hmm.
break each of those down. And I'll
Yes.
give you some context. I'll set some context here because so I came to Canada as an international student, right? And I went from January to August for school. And so in my last month, I only had one program and it was an elective. So I had
Mhm.
time to work now, to transition now into working.
Correct.
And I walked around my town. I lived in Milton at the time in Ontario. Walked around giving out resumes. right? So I spoke to lots of managers, and I remember speaking to the manager at A&W, and A&W said, "You are overqualified. We're looking for somebody who's gonna stick around." And I'm like, "That's fair. I'm not that person."
Mhm.
Right? Because I was honest with them, right? And then
Yeah.
I went to Metro and I told them I am looking for a job in my field. Until then, I'd like to be able to work, and they understood. And Metro gave me a job, so I worked at Metro as a cashier and Starbucks as a barista. And I told both of them, like, once I am looking for a job, full disclosure, and they were appreciative of that. And 2 weeks later, I got that job because I didn't stop,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Because this is now the conversation now is what happens when this short term bridge becomes the whole plan. Okay.
Mhm.
So when you're coaching immigrants today, what's the number one mistake that you're seeing right now in their job search strategy from early on?
I would say apply, 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 apply. They're putting all their effort, energy in one basket. Apply. I tell them apply for a job should be your last resort.
Mm,
It should be last resort. Have a temporary job, survival job to pay the bills, get the Canadian
mhm,
experience, but have
mhm,
a plan. So first clarity. As I said, what kind of roles you're looking for, what kind of companies you're looking for. Are you looking for a remote role? Are you looking for a hybrid role? So have that clarity in mind. Second, you need to have a schedule. Monday morning, I'm applying for a job. Monday afternoon, I'm working. Tuesday morning, I am networking. Tuesday afternoon, I am going for a coffee shop. I'm watching something in one. Wednesday, I am working. So you need to have that schedule. You need to diversify. Coffee
mhm,
chat, networking. The third point is know your stories. You have a lot of stories to tell. Immigrants have
mhm.
great stories, and
Yeah,
sometimes they forget how to tell their
forget.
stories.
Mhm,
So it's important to know your story and tell them. Third is, which I feel that a lot of even international students or immigrants don't know, how to use LinkedIn.
mhm.
I have a 2 hour program that I talk about LinkedIn from A to Z.
Okay.
Your LinkedIn is your website. It's your
Mhm,
professional online presence. You want your website to work for you. And there's a lot of areas that people don't know how to work. And then LinkedIn also helps you to network because, again, it takes 3 to 6 months to network to ask something from Christina or from Mher. But what happens is that immigrants saying, I see a job, Mher is hiring, I want Mher to help me now. But
yeah.
people will not help people they trust or they build
Yes.
relationship. You cannot
Mhm,
ask them from day one. But I need your job
mhm,
now. I know, but the system doesn't work that way. And I
mhm.
always give them the example of opening a bank account. When you go
Yes.
to a bank, you open an
Mhm,
account, you invest. You don't
mhm,
withdraw from day one. You draw one minus minus. So how do
mhm,
you invest in relationship with Christina or with Mher? Comment on their post, share
mhm.
something with them. Christina is in immigration or in career coach, or I am in that. I read this article, I thought about you, this is it. And it takes time and
Mhm.
then ask something in return. And then
Yeah.
another thing is that post content, post something about yourself because as you research employers on the website, they're also
Mhm.
researching you
You.
when they find a resume that you are interested. So post something every Friday at 10 o'clock about your job, about your career, about your journey. You read an article, summarize them, and then later on, then you need to apply. And even when
Mhm.
you are applying, do your research, try to find 3 people in that company.
Yeah.
A new hire, because they were
Mhm.
in your show, they will help you someone with the same job title as you so that you can understand more about the role and the company. Now, the
Mhm.
third one can be the hiring manager because recruiters are bombarded with so many requests. Hiring manager, but when you are reaching to them, give them solution. Don't tell them, hey, this is my resume, I want to work with you. Give them a solution.
Mhm.
I know that you're hiring in this role, this is what I can do for you. Give them solution because a job posting is a problem they're trying to solve. Eh,
Solve. Mhm.
Try to give them solution. And
Mhm.
in that solution, if somehow you can make it about how you can save time to them, how you
Mhm.
can make money and
More
profit to
money.
them, then they will listen to you.
Mhm. 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 And I love that you mentioned that the whole bank account concept, right? Because I find that people are tired, they're burnt out. I get it to some extent,
Yeah.
right? But you came here to fight the good fight.
Yeah.
Right? So wherever you need to get the energy from, and I'm gonna ask you that question in a
Yes.
second, but when you are building relationships and investing relationships, it has to be from a genuine place. What
Correct.
I'm finding is a lot of transactional
Mm-hmm.
communication,
Correct.
more of like a, what's in it for me kind of vibe. And sometimes I don't think people realize is that some okay, so if there's somebody that you find in the company and you think that, oh, that's the person I need to network with because that's the person that's going to be in the job, who's going to get me the job. But what about somebody that knows them,
Correct.
right? You don't know who people know. You don't know who I know.
No.
You don't
Correct.
know who Mher knows.
Yeah, correct.
Right? And because of that, people, no matter where you go, should be trying to build relationships, trying to invest in the relationships, because you never know who knows who. And for me, people will hand me resumes and such. You have to be recommendable.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's
people have
what
to be recommendable.
and that's how I tell them, try to diversify your network and have a 7-day strategy. Let's say if you reach out to Christina, first, before reaching to Christina on LinkedIn, check if she's active. If she hasn't posted something in a month, she's not active. Don't waste your time. And even sometimes people are active, you're reaching out to them, they might not respond to you. So don't
Yeah.
take it personally. Try to find as another person. And then when you are reaching to Christina on LinkedIn, especially, try to comment on her latest posts because she will get notification that Meher commented on their post, and then send a message, customized message on LinkedIn saying that, hey, Christina, you posted about this. I'm very much intrigued. These are my thoughts. I'd like to chat more about and have a conversation. Then she might accept or not. Another area, if the communication is that on Christina's post, if there's 3, 4 people commenting, those are also potential people that you can
Potential people. Yes.
comment because they're both of you have interest in on Christina's post. So it means that you are interested in that. So also you can reach out to those people. Another place is a lot of people don't know is groups. On LinkedIn, there's a lot of groups. It can be project management, accounting, AI. So if you are in those groups, the awkwardness to post or to reach out to those people are very much less because you're in that
Yeah.
group. So you have
Yeah.
something similar and
Common
you can
interests.
common interest and you can share ideas.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So what I see happening though is people get into stable jobs. They, of course, they fix the money problem.
Yeah.
Then the urgency disappears.
And they
And
get comfortable.
yes, right. So there's two traps. There's a survival trap and there's a comfort trap, right? And immigration doesn't reward either of those things, right? And for people that have come here, you spent too much money to be here as a student or even to just move your family here.
Correct.
To then come to this place where you're comfortable. And I'm going to tell you like a couple of the case studies or the typical persona that I really want this message to receive, right? So this is kind of like a reality check, but also how do you strategically change this, right? So first I want to kind of describe, because we're talking about survival jobs and we're not shaming anybody for doing a job to get some money to feed your family. There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Nothing
and
wrong.
Understand that this is not from that place, okay? It is asking the question, like I mentioned before, yes, you have a job, you're fine, but does that job contribute to your long-term goals, whatever those goals are? You're trying to get permanent residency, you're trying to come to Canada to get rich, whatever the goal is, right?
Yeah.
So survival job is more so a job that maybe has nothing to do with your industry or your related field or anything, right?
Yes.
Sometimes it's low wage. Okay.
Correct.
So you're underpaid, overqualified, right? Sometimes you're doing multiple jobs, like when I was doing Metro and Starbucks at the same time. And there's no time because there's no energy. Like you said, you were feeling beat down in mentally, like, here I came to Canada to do this thing. I have a master's degree. I'm moving boxes. But in that state, you don't have any time to upskill, no any time to network or even apply for more jobs, right? And so this is kind of our definition of a survival job. And generally for immigration purposes, it may be a tier 4 or 5 job.
Yeah.
Okay, there's times when tier 4 or 5 will serve you, and we'll talk about that, but it might be a tier 4 or 5 job. But Mher, what happens when you're in survival mode and the people have lost the confidence to make sound decisions or to even believe in themselves anymore, that they have a master's degree and they can
Yeah.
do all these wonderful things? Because sometimes it plays with your mind,
Yeah.
you know?
I would say, as I mentioned earlier, you need to have a plan, a written plan, not in
Mm-hmm.
your mind, a written plan, and you need to go to that plan to see where are you, like a project management. I
Mm-hmm.
need to get Canadian experience. I have the job. I need to have Canadian education. I have the credentials. I went to certificate or whatever. I'm networking every day, 3, 4 days. Okay, what's missing?
Mm-hmm.
And stay on that. So when I was doing the third survival job, is from 6:30 till 2:30.
Mm.
Came home, maybe have a nap, eat something, and then I kept. Okay, what am I doing today? I need to network 5 people. I was doing that. What am I doing today? I need to read something about Canadian culture. What am I doing today? Okay, I kept pushing
Keep
myself.
your head in the game.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay some of the days you get depressed or you're not okay to, and it's okay not to be okay. And it's okay to take days off. Especially here in Canada, you can go outside,
Mm-hmm.
walk, go to the gym, especially the gym, work out. Also have people that you can talk, have
Yeah.
mentors, maybe
Community.
volunteering is
Mm-hmm.
also another option that you can meet people in the same industry. But I would say
Mm-hmm.
mentorship is a lot of opportunities there. Again, in Canada there's a lot of companies, they do mentorship, a lot of organizations, they do mentorship. Try to find your people in the industry you are related to and surround yourself with those people. And
Mm-hmm.
again, survival job is not a shame. We need that income, but again, you need to remember it's a short term income, and it's
Yeah.
not your final destination. And
Exactly.
surround yourself with people that can help you, mentor you, and ask
Yeah.
people for some help if you need it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think you mentioned this earlier, even is that maybe depending on where we're coming from, career coach isn't a thing,
Yeah,
right? They
yeah,
don't understand the concept, but that level of accountability, the what you need to push through the exhaustion
yeah,
is an accountability partner, is a career coach, is community, is somebody else to get you out of your head
hmm,
and keep your eyes on the prize, because it's easy to lose momentum and motivation when we're on that, right?
correct.
And the scary part for the immigration is that when the job isn't aligned with our immigration pathway, time passes, your
Hmm.
profile isn't improved, and then your work permit expires. Now, one of the biggest reasons that people get stuck in survival mode or comfort mode is the financial pressure. You can't upskill, you can't pivot, you can't invest in long term positioning because you're just trying to survive. And I get it. And so does our sponsor, Passage. Now, this video is sponsored by Passage, and they provide loans for international students to study in Canada. But they're not just about providing loans to any program. They're focused on employment outcomes. They're providing loans to programs that are directly in line with in-demand opportunities and job opportunities here in Canada. So if education is part of your strategy, don't just pick any program because it's easy or fast. Pick something that leads to somewhere. And that's exactly what our sponsor Passage will help you to do. In the link in the description or somewhere on the screen is the link to check your eligibility for an international student loan here in Canada to study programs that are directly in line with employment opportunities in Canada. Passage will also help you, once school is done, to integrate into the job world through networking opportunities, coaching, and training. Thank you to Passage for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into how to move through this job market strategically.
I've seen a lot of people here at the university saying that I only have 3 months to find a job because it should be very much aligned with where my studies so that I can get a work permit. So the only two things I can give to immigrants that they need to do from day one is be active on LinkedIn and
Yeah.
network every day. Try to find 2 to 3 people that you can network, build relationship with those people, add value. How can I add value? If you don't know, chat GDP. I am speaking with this person. I need to add value to them. How can I do?
How can
What
I?
can I do? What can I add? And it will give you direction. And
Mm-hmm.
again, don't be discouraged if things, if there are days that are very tough, we all go through them. If in those days, as you mentioned, try to find someone that you can help. There's a lot of mental organization that can help with you.
Yeah.
And again, find your community and people. And a lot of times, there's a lot of free stuff also. So I have my YouTube page where I've interviewed 190 people. They are giving all free stuff. Just watch them, 5 minutes, implement. It's very easy, but don't get discouraged because you came here with a purpose. You want to improve your life. You left your country, your family, and you have all this money. That don't be discouraged. It's something that every immigrant are passing through. Some are easier. Some they don't survive job automatic again. Great. Learn from those journeys. But some pass through survival, but just don't get stuck there. As I said,
Yeah.
this is not your final destination.
Exactly. It's a bridge, not
It's
the
a
whole
bridge.
plan.
Correct.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's this kind of survival trap
Yeah.
that happens like physically you're in that job space, but also in your brain, you think that all you're capable of is that level of job. Right. And then now is the comfort trap.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll define that is like a person has one stable job, you have steady income, and then stagnation. So I'm going to give you 3 or 4 people that I see in my community, in the immigrant community, as part of my platform is, okay, so they get a tier 4 job right out of school. They have a 3-year work permit. And they stay in that tier 4 job for the 3 years on their work permit. And this tier 4 won't qualify them for Canadian Experience class. And tier 4, unless you are in the right place in Canada, won't necessarily qualify you for many immigration programs. But you have stable income, you have predictable income, and you're in a stable job, right? And so that's one. I of course, you probably people in those phases are not necessarily comfortable. They don't see themselves as comfortable, but the mere fact that that person is not changing anything, right? Either in tier 4 or 5, it means that you have the urgency is lost. The urgency is gone, right? There's the other persona who finishes school, applies for their work permits, right? And the work permit may take 8 months or so to process, right? And what happens is they're like, all right, let me just take this job right now. Okay, when I get my work permit, I'll pivot. Then people, for some reason, think that immigration has to approve their stuff, right? I've seen where the work permits don't get approved, either for the spouse. Things are changing, right? And also, they may have done things that they don't understand that makes them now ineligible for the work permit.
Who knows?
And now, no work permit, and you just basically spent a year working, but it counts towards no immigration program that you can now access because you don't have a work permit anymore. And then there is the folks that are there. Maybe they're in a job that is maybe a tier 4 or 5 job, but is in an in-demand industry, but is in the wrong place in Canada. So Toronto, it's not your place for that. Okay. But they do need to move somewhere for it to translate to something immigration wise. And why that is part of the comfort trap is because they're in a city that they're comfortable with. Everything is easy to access. Everybody looks like them kind of vibe, but it's not contributing to their overall goal. Right. And so how do we get these people how do you move from that comfortable place of being gainfully employed to being more gainfully employed in alignment with either your background and or immigration?
I would say having that plan that I mentioned earlier, you have to be in front of you, maybe on your fridge, where I am in my immigration process. Is this job that I'm doing helping me add anything experience? Because as you mentioned, sometimes immigration might take 12 to 18 months. And then you are stuck in this job, but are you only stuck? Are you doing anything else? So if you're stuck and you cannot change, you need to network or reach out to people that can help you navigate to gain more experience, to gain more insight. Maybe you can do volunteer job in this organization, or even sometimes I would say, which is also something new here in Canada, is uh, staffing agencies, which is where I come from, doesn't exist. Staffing agencies can help you find temporary jobs
Mm-hmm.
in areas that you are interested. So when I
Yes.
was doing I went, there was a time I was in two temporary jobs. One was 3 days, one was 2 days, as if I was working full time in the HR world. So I was specifically wanting HR jobs. Temporary, I was able to gain for 4 months. I was working for 4 months. That gave me Canadian experience. That gave me networking opportunities. That gave me kind of I'm temporary here. I'm gaining the experience and the money that will lead me to my full time job. So believing in yourself is very important. Having clarity is important. It's important to read books also, and books that they are very much practical books. There's a lot of books out there, but I would say having books that very much aligned and helps you build clarity and practical tips is very important. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of free versions online. But the bottom line is you're here for a reason. Remember that. Don't forget. Write it on a piece of paper, on your fridge, on your computer, on your laptop, somewhere that will remember you, why you came here, what's the purpose of here, and what you are doing is going to help you gain the status from immigration to PR, maybe from PR to more Canadian citizenship. Uh, and being also aware about the government rules because things keep changing. And again, where are you is also important because sometimes in Newfoundland opportunities are very limited. Then in Toronto is so much. Then sometimes maybe you need to go to Regina or you need to go to Calgary maybe. So also you need to be flexible. Where is the
Yeah.
job? Where is the experience that I can gain that will help me change my status? Don't get comfortable. Oh, my friends are here,
Yes.
or my community here. I don't want to go here. But if you go there for maybe a year, you gain it and come back. Because when I came, the first 3 months, I was like, okay. I need to find a job. Maybe I should move from Vancouver. Maybe I should go to Kelowna. Maybe I should go to North BC for 6 months, gain experience, come back. I was willing to do that because I left everything and came here to start from scratch. I will not. What's the word? Hold me back. Small barrier that
Yeah.
I know that after that the doors will open. I am there only for 6 or 7 months to gain experience and come back to the big
Yeah.
city.
Yeah. 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 And in fact, so when I was working at Metro and Starbucks, when I got a job or an interview rather of a job in my field, the interview was 3 hours away by bus. Right? So that means that even if I get this job, I'm gonna have to move, right?
Yeah,
But I you have to be
willing.
willing to step outside of that
Yeah,
comfort zone to be able to just get it done. And another thing I think is like, so we spoke about like how do you get out of this place, right? And we
yeah,
spoke about accountability. How about some public accountability?
hmm,
Because I think that awareness is probably the first step even. So if you are bold enough or comfortable enough rather, talking about comfort,
hmm,
can you drop in the comment section which season are you in right now? Are you in survival? Are you in comfort? Or are you in strategy mode? Right? Drop that word in the comment section below if you dare. If you public accountability is helpful, but
yeah,
also just awareness of okay, this is where I'm at. I'm a little bit stuck, either mentally or just exhaustion. Like, well, how can we move the needle? And of course, Mher talks about LinkedIn. I enjoyed thoroughly LinkedIn in 2025. That's how we connected,
yes, yes,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say a lot of
Um.
times people don't know the power of LinkedIn, and there's a lot that we
No.
can talk about it.
There's so much magic.
Yes,
I underestimated LinkedIn. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
Before 2025. 2024, 2025, thereabouts. But now it's like, okay, LinkedIn, I see you.
Yeah.
So I do have a couple of pointers to add to the strategy and the framework, especially for that immigrant who is in survival or comfort mode when thinking about the job search,
Yeah.
right? So Mher talks about, you have to have a plan. In your plan, you need to have like a couple of non-negotiables, right? A couple of things that you're gonna check the box. Like if this job doesn't check all of the boxes, if you take it, you have to understand that it is only for a season and you need to continue until you find a job that checks the boxes.
Correct.
And the first thing I think is that you need to know what your knock code or what the tier for that job is before you say yes. I think that nowadays jobs have really nice titles.
Very much. Yeah.
Business development, rah, right? When really it's customer service and sales, right? I think it's business development. I wish I would remember the title, right? But before you get aroused by the title, it's go and research what is the knock code for this job.
Yeah.
If it's not tier 0, 1, 2, or 3, if you take it, it will pay the bills,
Yes.
but it won't contribute to your PR pathway, right?
Yeah.
So that's one framework. Simple, actionable.
Yeah.
Check. Okay. And I think that Mher talks about the plan, right? So beside this decision to take this job that doesn't qualify because you need money, and we appreciate we know. Mher, we did it.
I
Right?
was there, and I
We were
remember
there.
my first paycheck was $650 for 2 weeks. I was like, hey, I have money, I have Canadian money.
I don't even remember what I got paid. I was only at Metro and Starbucks for 2 weeks.
Okay.
I'm sure they didn't expect me to get a job so quickly.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I bet on myself.
You did the work. You did the work, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I also tell people, that me or Christina or other people, whenever we are telling you, you need to be on LinkedIn every hour. You need to network every hour. You need to be out there. And if you don't do the work, don't expect different results, right? Because a lot of times I go to these conferences or workshop I do, and I tell them, whatever I'm telling you, if you don't go home and change your environment or change something in your work style or lifestyle, don't expect different results. So
Yeah.
that's the part that I'm feeling that people have to take some accountability, some action, and some actions that, okay, I need to do this. Nowadays, lately I would say, I'm trying to be away from social media because there's a lot of noise there. I'm trying, it's been only a week now, every night from 9:30 p.m. till 10 p.m. I'm reading one of my books because I bought 3-4 books and I need to read them. And I need that time dedicated for books. So and have a plan, as I said, and stick to that plan.
Yeah. And you talk a lot about networking, and that's my magic word. Okay.
Yeah.
Every episode it will come up some way, shape, or form. I don't even have to ask.
Yeah.
And how I got that job that got me out of Metro and Starbucks was through my network.
Yeah.
It wasn't because I applied for the job. I didn't even know about the company. I knew somebody that was working there, and I'm like, tell me about what you do. Tell me more about what you do. Let me see if I can see myself doing that. He told me about other roles that's not necessarily roles that were open, but other people in the company and what they do. And I'm like, well, and I checked. What was the knock code? It was a tier 3. Well, now it was like, I think it was B. It was different back then.
Yeah.
It was a tier 3, and there is room to grow inside the company. Okay. And so I did that assessment. I said, all right, hand in my resume for me, please. He did that, and I got called for an interview. So never underestimate networking. So Mher talks about the plan. So after you get that first check, it's in the right knock and it's in the right tier, or if it's in the wrong knock or tier, what are you going to do now that you have some income coming in? What are you going to do now alongside that survival plan to get into the right job or something, right? What are you going to do? You're going to spend 30 minutes a day networking, two applications a week,
Hmm.
two people, you're gonna have one coffee thing a week. Like, have that plan to continue, because I didn't stop after I got hired at Metro and Starbucks.
Yeah.
I did not stop. In fact, I was ready to move to Vancouver. I had an interview set up in Vancouver. My family didn't necessarily agree, but
I would say it took me 9 months of
yeah.
constant networking in Vancouver in 2013 or 14
Hmm.
that eventually I met someone who knew someone and they were hiring. And
Hmm.
he gave them my resume, and my resume was on the top. But I did the research and prepped the research so that I can get the job. One thing I want to mention is a lot of times people are very not clear about how to network. The word
Right.
is scares them.
Fair.
They are
Hmm.
introvert. So I would say them networking is, think of it about building authentic relationship with people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my acronym for networking is CAN. CAN: connection, action, and nurture. So, in today's competitive market, networking is no longer just about exchanging business card or taking connection
Mm-mm.
that leads collaboration and growth.
Hmm.
That's the
Hmm.
important part that you want to, and how you can add value to that relationship. The
Hmm.
other part is that only connection is not enough. Now you need to take the action. What's the
Hmm.
action? The follow up, the engagement, sending them anything that you find them very valuable to them. And the third word is, as I mentioned, is nurture. And how do you nurture relationship? It takes time. You need to know that it takes time. As I said, the example of opening a bank account. Another
Hmm.
example is how you nurture a tree or a
Yeah.
flower or
Hmm.
plant. You water them every
Water it.
week. You maybe you
Hmm.
sing to the plant. Maybe you clean the plant. Yeah? You need to do things so that that plant nurtures and
Hmm.
blossoms. So that's
Exactly.
the part that, as I was saying earlier, keep networking. Even if you find job, I tell the clients that I'm helping that you find a job, please keep networking. Whatever I'm teaching
Yes.
you, whatever I'm telling you, keep networking, because you never know in this competitive market where the job will come. We're hearing a lot of layoffs, we're hearing a lot of
Hmm.
budget cuts. So if you don't have that network already,
Yeah.
once you're like, oh my god, I don't know, I
Hmm.
cannot speak with
Dig your well
people.
before you're thirsty.
Yeah,
Hmm.
network before you ask for something in return.
Hmm.
And again,
Hmm.
identifying 3 4 people, 3 4
Yeah.
companies,
Yeah.
always have that and reach out to them and build relationships.
Yeah, and on a digital world that we're in, you're talking about LinkedIn. Sometimes some of the people that I connected with were people who showed up in my comments,
Yeah,
right? People who came to my lives or something online because, all right, so I know somebody who is in my community who is a pharmacist.
yeah,
What's going to happen to her anytime something pharmacy related comes across my table? I'm going to think of her,
yeah,
right? Because she did a good job showing up, networking, making herself known. And it was quite simple
yeah,
on her part. She didn't know she was doing that and getting enough of my attention for me to think of. She lives rent free in my head,
yeah.
right? And you mentioned a very important word there, Mher: follow up. Oh my gosh. I don't know that people are good at follow up. And so I want to just plant that seed that
Yeah.
yes, and sometimes you send somebody an email. Like, I know for sure that people email me, and some people will hear from me way quicker than others, but it's not necessarily that I'm ignoring anybody, but I get a lot of communications,
Yes.
right? Follow up. I won't be mad at you for
Yeah.
following up. In fact, maybe after the third or fourth one is when it will pop up at the right time, at the right thing, and not get
Correct.
buried. So
Yeah.
definitely follow up. And now, Mahir, sometimes
Hmm.
let's the next thing on in that strategy is, like, sometimes the survival job can lead you or bring you closer to your profession. So
Correct.
let's talk about little bit about how to strategically get a survival job that will help you to move into HR or something. And before you do, I do want to share this story of the temp jobs. Yes, you
Hmm.
said temp agencies. Someone in Nova Scotia got connected to a temp agency. Okay. They placed her as an admin in a HR setting. Perfect. It was temporary.
Hmm.
When it ended, you know what they wanted to do? Hire her full
Hire her.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So I'm glad you brought up the temp agency, but let's talk about how to get into where you're trying to get to through a survival job that's probably kind of adjacent or close to where you're actually trying to be career
Yeah.
wise.
So having, as I said earlier, clarity in what roles you want, what industries you want to work, and check out, are there any temp agencies that are working with these companies? Are there any jobs or even sometimes volunteering opportunities in some organizations affiliated to that industry, that you can help in the HR, where we have the CPHR association, that they do a lot of mentorship, and you can
Okay.
be a
Yes.
mentee with a mentor, and then sometimes those mentors are guiding you, and those people have connections. They can help you build connections with other people, right? So having clarity, I'm coming back to clarity because people come here and then they're surprised, oh, I need a job, any job. I have to pay the bills. Okay, I get it, but they lose the sight of the clarity is that I'm a project manager, I'm an HR executive in my country, but now I'm having issues that they have to remember that all the time, that what can I do that will get me closer to my dream job,
Yeah.
what this job will give me experience, will give me connections. So as you mentioned earlier before, don't say yes to everything. Remember, is this related to my immigration status? Will this give me Canadian experience? Will this build closer to my hand? And sometimes immigrants are afraid to say no to job offers, right?
Yeah.
Because they're, oh my God, someone offered me, I need to take it. No, you can say no if it's not aligned with your values, it's not aligned with your status, it's not aligned with your experience. I get it. We need that short-term income if you are reaching to that limit. Like sometimes we know that, like, if I don't have a job next month, I cannot pay the
Rent
rent or
or
everything, right? And
food.
then you're totally shifted. But don't forget the side of that. So that's why having something in writing, and there's a study saying that if you write something in writing and check it out and everything, it gives you motivation, it
Oh,
gives you
yes.
something. I accomplished something. Even I always tell people that going to the gym also helps. Even let's say you applied for a job or you get a phone call, celebrate those small wins, because every
Yeah.
small win helps you spark something, keeps you alive inside.
I love that. I love that. And this, when I think about my immigration journey, understand people that everything is hindsight.
Yeah,
Okay. So when I use my story as an example, it's just because, oh, I can remember a time when,
yeah.
right? So I got, when I got into the job that I did, that first job in my industry, so I have a background in architecture, and then I came here and studied project management. So I can use either or.
Correct.
So the job that I took was more related to my architectural degree, right? But within the company, there are project managers.
Yes.
And so, what's important when you're thinking about this as part of your plan is finding an adjacent role. Is that I step in and I'm a drafter, right? So, the person that does the drawings on the computer for in an architectural
Yeah.
engineering setting, right? But that's not the job I wanted,
Yeah.
right? And so, I was in it, I was doing it, and just based on my work ethic, this isn't something I was trying to do necessarily, but just based on my work ethic, I demonstrated that I am able to take on more responsibilities.
Yes.
I demonstrate that I am multifaceted.
Yeah.
You know that
You
I
can do
studied
more.
project management, by the way. And in 2 months, quite literally, I it was right time, right place, opportunity presented itself, and I presented myself to some extent as somebody who's capable of doing this role,
Yeah.
and I got promoted into a project coordinator role,
Yeah.
right?
You mentioned earlier, like, survival jobs or temp agencies can get you foot in that organization or anything,
Exactly.
right? And when you are there, try to network with people outside
Outside
your in other department, so that
departments within the company, right?
they can know you and build relationship with them. And again, sometimes ask more responsibilities to showcase that you can do it if allowed, right? Again, be professional, respect other people's time and energy, but show the interest that you can do this, you can do, because sometimes us as immigrants, we can do more than one job. We can do more than one job. and we can do sometimes faster than, I would say, local local people, because we have done that and we have that ability. We need to showcase them, and don't put your bags in one box. You can do more than one thing.
Exactly, exactly. I was interviewed for Authority magazine recently, and I remember like that line that I left in there. It's from The Lion King, Mufasa.
Oh,
Remember who you are.
I love
Who
it.
remember who you
I,
are.
my lion, Mister.
Yeah. My lion.
Yeah,
Right? Remember who
who
you
you
are.
are.
Remember that person that hopped on a plane, left everything that they knew, left comfort, right? That had to fight the good fight. Just remember where that place inside yourself is. And I know that sometimes burnout is real. I don't want to dismiss that,
Yeah,
and that your mental health is important, right? So you want to do things to keep your mind,
yeah.
able. Like I puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle, and I color,
These are
right?
my
Whatever it
paintings.
is.
My paintings.
And I paint. Yes, I do paint. Like I do paint nights. I paint, right? Like whatever it is you need to do to kind of just get yourself in that place, in that zone. Listen to some bilateral music, some binaural beats, something to kind of help break the funk,
Yeah,
so that you can push through to get to that place. Because my grandfather would say, it may be long, but it won't be forever,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Get to that place, right? And so you were gonna say.
I was going to say, like, Lion King is one of my ultimate Disney movie. I've watched it so many times, even when the live action came. And my name here in the Armenian culture is the name of a king, and that king opened the mouth of the lion bare hands when the lion was at the front of the country. I mean, the palace. So Lion King is very close to my heart, and when you told that remember who you are, it also strikes something in me that sometimes even us, we've been here 10, 12 years, sometimes we remember, we need to
Forget.
remember, we need,
Yeah.
we forget, we became part of the culture, we became part of the, the life that's very, these days it's very competitive and running, but sometimes it's okay to take time to pause and reflect and remember who you are. So thank you for that.
Yeah, remember who you are, people. Remember who you are.
Yeah.
And now, so I mean, I think there's so much value packed in this episode. You gave so many nuggets, so many tips, guys. You need to go and take notes, watch it again and take notes. And remember to comment below,
Yes.
which stage are you in? This is not about shaming. This is not about feeling bad. This is about just awareness of where you are, wherever
Mhm.
you are, whether it's survival, comfort, or in the strategy phase. And now that you've acknowledged that today,
Mhm.
what's your next step? What's your next actionable thing that you can do right after watching this
You
video,
need to take
after you
action.
comment?
Action. You need to take
Take
an action.
action. Yeah,
Otherwise, nothing will be changed. If you stay
right.
in your comfort zone, if you're, oh, the money is coming, oh, I'm not seeing, it will not work. We need to
Yes.
work harder than other people because we are capable of doing everything. We are determined, and taking action is the one thing that lately I've been telling people that I'm helping, or if I'm a guest on podcast or I'm doing a workshop, I tell them, if you go home and you don't do anything, you will forget it, and it takes
Yeah.
30 days to remember a new habit. So I would say, like, having habits is important. New habits takes time to build. Put specific time every day at 5 p.m. I'm on being on LinkedIn to do whatever you want to do. Nowadays at 9:30 I'm reading. At 4 I'm going to the gym, or I'm doing something active in my life, because I need to have those places in time in my life at this stage.
Yes. Yes. Take action. I want to see you in the comment section below.
Yeah.
Survival, comfort, or strategy. I want to see you guys on both mine and Mher's LinkedIn. I want to see you in the comments, right? Because that's one small step that you
Yes.
can take today that doesn't require much lifting,
Correct.
right? And
Yeah.
each day, just 1%,
Yeah.
1%, 1%.
1 day at
Okay.
a time, one action at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself, because finding a job is, even survival job, it takes full time. It takes a lot of energy, but you need to do one thing at a time. Plan, strategic plan helps. That's why I keep coming saying that, have that clarity. What
Yeah.
roles you want to do? Be on
Yeah.
LinkedIn active, network, build relationship, check your project if you are checking all the timeline, and revisiting if something is wrong, and ask for help. And it's okay not to be okay on some days.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And then a quick checklist for you. Okay. Depend wherever you are in your immigration journey. Most likely, I'm talking to the temporary residents. Is ask yourself these questions right where you're at right now, or you're in line for a new job. So, if your job right now is in tier 4 or 5, what are your realistic PR options? PR meaning permanent residency, right? Because there could be, but what are those options and where can I find them? If express entry is your thing, if that's where you're going for, are you in line to be competitive in express entry, either at a category based level, or you're at least in the right tier 0 to 3? And for those who are maybe you figured out the PR thing, you're on your way here, or you are a permanent resident, what does job alignment actually mean for you? Are you there right now? Is this job where you saw yourself, or are you undershooting a little bit and you need to make the next step? And what can you do? What is that next action that you can do once you've answered these questions for yourself? Next. Now, Mher is a career coach, and he talks a lot about this career plan. And sometimes it's hard. Of course, we have AI, all these wonderful things, but sometimes it's easy to soundboard with somebody, right? So get together with Mher. Help him, ask him to help you to build out your plan to get you unstuck if you're feeling stuck. Mher, where can people find you on the internet?
LinkedIn is the best place for me to find Mher Mardoyan. And the other place is also you can find the interviews I have done, and Christina hopefully will be part of that. On my YouTube channel, where I've interviewed 190 people giving free advices to job seekers, new immigrants. Mher Mardoyan, career coach on YouTube. Subscribe and watch the videos and take action. That's the key. Action, network, and reach to us. We're here to help you. We've been in your shoe. We know what you're going through, and we can help you day by day.
Yes. And if you need help figuring out this immigration pathway, right here on this YouTube channel, if you're a member, you have access to the full course that is navigating the changing landscape of Canadian immigration. And if you can't access it here on YouTube, you can access it on my website as a standalone course, which will really help you to stop guessing what your immigration pathway is, how to approach it strategically, and how to make yourself fit into the mold that Canadian immigration government they've created the mold. Do you fit into the mold? No? Okay, how do we get you to fit into the mold, right? There are more people than there are seats on the bus, so understand that everybody can't stay. And the best thing that you can do for yourself is be strategic about it.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. Have a plan.
Mher, this was great. I appreciate you for your time and the wisdom that you have shared with me and my audience. If you like this video, I want you to hit that thumbs up, share it with one other person, and subscribe both to As Told by Canadian Immigrants and Mher's channel. What's the name of your channel, Mher?
Mher Mardoyan, career coach.
Okay, that's Mher. It will be in the it will be in the comment section below, and it will come up on screen likely there. This was our immigration stories as told by Canadian immigrants. I appreciate you for you watching. See you in the next video.
See you, everyone. Thank you, Christina.